It is Tuesday, 10:25. I haven't had to leave yet because I've been watching the video lectures for Prologue. Obviously I can watch these whenever I want, but this is when we would otherwise have a lecture. But now it's time to leave for the computer lab for the first real lecture. All the coaches that bring people on trips to Cambridge stop just outside of Queen's. So there are millions of school kids here this morning. It's quite a nice walk to the computer lab. It takes about 30-35 minutes from Queen's. Churchill is the closest college to the William Gates building and they get the most computer science applicants. So it's convenient for getting to the computer lab, but a nightmare to get anywhere else. Although they get about 18 Comskis there, I don't think it's worth applying. I wouldn't have anywhere. Churchill is one of the newer colleges that was built in like the 70s or 80s or something, so it looks horrible compared to the really nice old buildings that you get in Cambridge. And like I said, it's just not in the centre, it's miles away from anything.
We want the system to appear to have been serial without actually executing in a serial manner. So the goal is to determine, did we capture a persistent snapshot? So what we want to do is look at the history of commits and ask, were the set of versions I read in, object version 2, another object version 6? We will revisit that initial state I. That set of times, what's the greatest common divisor of that? All about DI. So one possibility is that DI is 1, and another one is that it's greater than 1. Without variables of AI, if we've got an edge in your graph, I to J. Otherwise,
it looks not completely so ridiculous, if you like, if they've been made out of transistors or integrated circuits.
After lunch was the second hardware practical of term, which involved using the T-pads this week. We followed instructions, writing bits of system Verilog and C. Compiling the code was the slowest thing ever and produced millions of warnings every time. 434 warnings for an empty project. Cool. But once it was done, we could make the T-pads do things. In particular, we made it act as an electronic dice and then wrote code to count up and down in binary using some of the LEDs. Alright, come on.
Since they have this tech, they use for that.
Does something. Yes.
So it is, they are both, they both represent covariance to the round if you assume the system will arbitrate whatever.
Okay.
This bit involved wiring up different components in the software, which was insanely complicated. Mega functions with the MegaWizard plugin manager. Which takes ages to load. Okay. Where's ALTPLL? ALTPLL. Give the file to be created a name. There. PLL.v. Click next. Now on page 3 of 14 of the MegaWizard plugin manager. change the frequency, you can either select the enter-output clock parameters and enter a pair of integers into clock multiplication factor and clock division factor, or select enter-output clock frequency and enter the desired clock rate. Set up the clock as required and click next. What? Enter output clock frequency. This one. And what's the desired clock rate? Next. Page 9. I eventually finished and got it working. Walked back to college in the dark and had pizza for dinner. It certainly feels like autumn today. I was vlogging this bit because this is the quietest bit I can. How many people around? I can do this without getting too many funny looks. I'm also going to the lab an hour earlier than usual today because we have a supervision at 9 o'clock, 9 AM of course. Supervisions can be at any time of day. Last year I had a supervision at 8 PM, finished at 9 PM. So there's a 12-hour range already that I've had supervisions in.
Quite a nice question. I'd be pleased if I chose this one.
Going to a bank which involves walking past Greggs. It's the only one in Cambridge. If you're from the north of England, you'll understand the significance of this. Hi.
This is the pub, but there's nobody here. And it's so dark.
I've got my first supervision of the year today, software engineering, which I probably won't be videoing because I think that might be frowned upon.